something written by Srila Prabhupada, my spiritual master. Any objection to spiritual master?
No. Pardon, say again.
It's very nice.
What is?
How do you get this on? How do you pretend this on?
Let's see how to figure this out.
So it's about this surrender, surrendering process.
Sandy, fix it for us.
And this Krishna conscious movement is teaching surrender to Krishna, or God. God has many names. Allah, Jehovah, Mungu, Katanda. In South Africa, Unkulunkulu. It's a long name for God. Unkulunkulu. Yeah. So, right now we're surrendered to this material world. In Sanskrit this is called godas. That we have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to make, we have to defend. We're controlled by our senses at every moment. This way we're just like a chariot with horses, pulling the chariot. But if the driver is not in control, then the horses can go anywhere. So, the person, according to Bhagavad Gita, the person is the passenger in the chariot. And he's not necessarily has to stay in the chariot. It's like we can get out of our car. We don't have to stay in our car, we can get out of our car, get in another car, or we don't have to get in the car at all. We're free to walk anywhere we like, go where we like. So, Krishna says that this material nature, material energy, which is giving us these temporary bodies, which we're changing, lifetime after lifetime, we're changing our bodies. It's very difficult to escape from. But there's a process. Those who surrender to me can get free from this repetition of birth and death, or samsara. That's the basic teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, please surrender to me. Try and surrender to me. But who can do that? I mean, we don't know what is Krishna, what is God, we have no idea. So how do the surrendering process work? So in the beginning of this Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada wrote a few words, introduction. I'll read them, so you can consider them. This is a serious matter. We've been dancing and singing with a smile on our faces. But actually this is an amazingly profound thing that we're doing. So there's a little mantra that we sing. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktavinda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jaya These are the names of these personalities we can see here. So this is the introduction to the book. It was originally delivered as 5 morning lectures on the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the authoritative biography of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here. By Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, before the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, New York City, April 10th to 14th, 1967. Prabhupada was just starting this movement. The word Chaitanya means living force. As living entities, we can move, but a table cannot, because it does not possess living force. Movement and activity may be considered signs or symptoms of the living force. Indeed, it may be said that there can be no activity without the living force. Although the living force is present in the material condition, it is not amrita or immortal. The words Chaitanya Charit Amrita then may be translated as the character of the living force in immortality. What are the activities that are permanent? Because this body is temporary, just to die. Whatever we do will be under the time of death, as far as the body is concerned. But as far as us, the dweller in the body, we say my hand, my head, my body, my eyes, my mind, my interest. Who am I? What am I? I am the force, the living force dwelling in this body. It's very obvious. If you see a dead body, there's no life, there's no living force making it work. And when somebody dies, they say he's gone. So it's a simple thing that there is an entity which is inhabiting this body. Okay? But how is this living force displayed immortally? It is not displayed by man or any other creature in this material universe. For none of us are immortal in these bodies. We possess the living force, we perform activities, and we are immortal by our nature and constitution. But the material condition into which we have been put does not allow our immortality to be displayed. It is stated in the Katha Upanishad. Anyway, basically now we're in an incompatible situation. This body is temporary. So Lord Chaitanya is teaching the symptoms of surrender, how to surrender through this chanting of Hare Krishna and the Hare Krishna movement. And the first of these is that we have to become humble and meek. Humble and meek. Generally, in these bodies, how can we be humble and meek? People are, imposing themselves upon us. It's like you say, it's a violent situation. If you're humble and meek, you get exploited. So in what situation can we be humble and meek? And that is this Krishna consciousness movement. It's a family of devotees, or an association of devotees, who are putting spiritual perfection as the goal of life. And one thing that amazed Prabhupada's friend, Prabhupada's godbrother for 30 years, hadn't seen Srila Prabhupada. And for 30 years in India. At that time, Prabhupada had been to America and started this movement. And he returned to the temple where he was staying before he went to America, called Radha Damodar Temple. So O.B.L. Kapoor, his godbrother, came into the Radha Damodar Temple. And he saw this old sadhu, old holy man, sitting under the veranda by the gate. But he didn't recognize him. So, but Prabhupada, even after 30 years, he recognized his godbrother. He got up. He said, O.B.L., after so long, I've met you now. Let me tell you what has happened. Let me tell you what happened. So he took O.B.L. into the room, to his room, and he told him how he got the Bhagavatam translated and printed. He got a free ticket to America, although he was age 70, 69, 70. He'd had heart attacks. He'd looked for followers. Nobody was interested in chanting Hare Krishna really. He went to Butler, Pennsylvania, the home of the Jeep. He went to Riverside, New York, yoga studios. And then he went to the young hippies in Lower East Side, New York. And they were interested. And he went to the park. He was chanting. They were joining in. He was telling them all these amazing things. We'd opened, now there's groups of people all over the world chanting. And here are some Western disciples. They've given up eating meat, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication. And they're engaging in freeing the soul from this repetition of birth and death. It's totally amazing. So O.B.L. Kapoor, he said, he was amazed. He said, you must have love of Krishna. You must have love of God to have done this. No one else has done it. No one else has taught people who is Krishna, what is God, who is the personality of God. No one's done it. Prabhupada said, no, I don't have love of God. He said, but I know the formula. He said, I know the formula. Formula, in other words, how to surrender, to give up these material attachments and love the Supreme Being, to repose our love in the eternal way. Now we're reposing our love in nations, in our families, in our money, and it's frustrating us, because every time we have to change our body, no one's happy. So where to repose that love is the question. So Prabhupada said, I know I have the formula. So O.B.L. said, what is the formula? So he quoted this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita about being humble and meek. Like I said, the first principle of surrender, which should somehow or other become very, feel humble. You know, although I'm sitting here and talking like a big man, I still have to be humble, because I can't speak on my own. I have to breathe the air that God has given me. I have to see with the light that God has given with me. I have to live with the food that God has given me. I have to think with it. Everything. I don't have any independence. I'm not great. None of us are. So Lord Chaitanya spoke one verse, as many of you know. One can chant the holy name of the Lord. Everyone can say, one can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. Thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree. Completely devoid of all sense of false prestige. And ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. But then you can ask, well, how do I do that? So very well, that's a formula, but how to follow the formula. So it's interesting. Prabhupada did give us a hint how to follow the formula. So I want to share this with you. That was, let's have a look. Because that's the nature of the spiritual master. He wants to help us in this process of surrender, because our egos are so strong. This is called upadi. I think I am Russian, I am British, I am so many years old, I am young, I am old, I am male, I am female. But the eternal entity has no birth or death. He's not American or French or German or Italian. It's just like in a dream, we identify with the dream. So when the alarm clock goes off, we wake up from this dream and we in a bigger dream, a daydream. We have this body, with nationality, family, job, and we think this is me. But so Lord Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to teach us, give a hint, how to surrender. This is interesting, some verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 17. In this age there is no other means to self-realization than the chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari. In this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Simply by chanting the holy name, one can associate with the Lord directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. So he goes on a little bit further. To chant the holy name always, one should be humbler than the grass in the street, and devoid of all desire for personal honor. But one should offer others all respect. A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance, like that of a tree. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything or others to retaliate. One should strictly follow the principle of always chanting the holy name, and one should be satisfied with whatever he gets easily. Such devotional behavior solidly maintains one devotional service. So then he says, very interesting, he says, in Bengali, Erdva Bahu Kari Kahan. That means raising my hands. Erdva Bahu Kari Kahan. To try raising your hands. Shuna Save Lok. Listen everyone. Raising my hands I declare.
Raising my hands, I declare.
Nam Sutre Ganti.
Nam Sutre Ganti.
Parakanti E Shlok.
Parakanti E Shlok.
Raising my hands, I declare. Everyone, please hear me. String this verse on the thread of the holy name and wear it on your neck for constant remembrance. This verse about being humbler than the grass, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of falsehood. We should string it on the thread of the holy names and wear it around our neck. Now, Prabhupada gives a special hint in the purport, how we can become humble, and how we can become forbearant, how we can become tolerant, so that we can follow the formula for love of God. Does anyone want love of God?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's listen to what Prabhupada says. When chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, in the beginning, one may commit many offenses, which are called Namabhas and Namaparad. Means the shadow of the holy name, and offensive chanting. Offensive chanting means like, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, but I think that he's just an ordinary person. He's not God. Anyway, I'll chant his name. It's the same as Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, or anything. So this is aparad. In this stage, there's no possibility of achieving perfect love of Krishna by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Therefore, one must chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra according to the principles of the above verse. Chinada Pisanichena, Turo Apisishna, very humbly and tolerantly. Then Prabhupada says, this is interesting, this is a point I'm coming to. One should note in this connection. So this is something which is to do with yoga, practice of yoga. Because we don't just dance and sing. We also have, you may have noticed, we also have a bandage on our hands. So we're just coming from the hospital. So we got our hand trapped in the door. No, actually, there's beads in here. And this is another process of yoga called Japa. And we do sit alone and meditate. You may have seen devotees mumbling to themselves. One time I was in the tube, and it was crammed, everybody was crammed in the tube. I was doing my job, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then this guy, right in front of me, he said, turned around and said, do you mind? So I was chanting right in his ear, you know. So I thought, well, yeah, I was a bit thoughtless. Maybe he didn't want to have me chanting in his ear. So yeah. So the thing is, this is another process, a private process of meditation or surrender, so that we can practice developing our love for God and getting free from this repetition of birth and death. So, this is what Prabhupada says. We should note in this connection, one should note in this connection that chanting involves the activities of the upper and lower lips as well as the tongue. This is something mechanical. It does involve some mechanical concentration, application. All three must be engaged in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The words Hare Krishna should be very distinctly pronounced and heard. Sometimes one mechanically produces a hissing sound instead of chanting with the proper pronunciation with the help of the lips and tongue. Chanting is very simple, but one must practice it seriously. This is Prabhupada's advice to us for making progress in spiritual life. It's very simple, but practice it seriously with the help of the upper lips, the lower lips, and the tongue. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Therefore, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, advises everyone to keep this verse always strung about his neck. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, any questions for you? Yeah.
I didn't understand the hissing part. Hissing.
Okay, let's try some hissing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And when you have quite a few people,
it's mainly hissing rather than hissing.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Definitely there's some tendency to hiss. Therefore, if we don't concentrate, in the Bhagavad Gita it says, Yato nischalati manas chanchalam astu. The mind is very difficult to control. Therefore, tatastato niyamyaitad atmanyeva vashamnayat. Therefore, we have to keep bringing the mind back under the control of our intelligence and Krishna. Because we're in a condition where we're focusing on this external body and mind, which is not us. Just like you go into a cinema, okay, you're watching the football or whatever it is, cricket, and you just forget who you are. And you're in illusion. It's Maya. Maya means illusion. We forget ourselves. So we're constantly forgetting our real identity. So therefore, this is practice, this chanting. When our mind goes away, and then we start immediately hissing, like a bunch of snakes. We're actually supposed to be thinking, we're supposed to be associating with Krishna in the form of his name. Krishna's coming in a sound vibration. Just like if somebody comes to your house, and it's very disappointing actually when you, after 20 years away from home, and you come back home, and you just walk in the door, and your mum and dad just say, hey, just sit down, we're watching the cricket. After 20 years, So after millions of years, we're in millions of lifetimes, we're inviting Krishna in this form of this sound vibration. But then we're thinking of something else. We're making a hissing sound. So that we have to always be using our intelligence to be aware, and Krishna's giving us to bring the mind back to the holy name. So Prabhupada's warning us, sometimes we make a hissing sound instead of saying with a proper pronunciation. This is Prabhupada's hint. It may seem, well, how do I develop love of God? It's impossible. I love so many things. But this is a way, because Krishna's in the sound. And if we can focus on it, without the mind going away, then we'll make progress. But if we start hissing, the Prabhupada's warning, to use your tongue and your lips in the simple yoga process. Sometimes we get lazy, falling asleep. Or you japa. There's another form of japa. And Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hey Prabhu, who's giving the class today? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hey, what? This way, your mind is racing from one thing to another. So, yoga means mind control, and this is Bhakti Yoga. So we're focusing our mind on Krishna in the form of sound vibration. And this, first of all, the name, then comes the form, and we begin to appreciate the forms of Krishna, and then qualities of Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna. So it's a gradual process. Any other question? I did have a song I wanted to make a world premiere today. But
plenty of time, Raj.
Huh?
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. But I don't think it's going to be the top of the hit parade very quickly, unless I get some of these big stars behind it. It's based on an English folk song, and you probably knew this English folk song from I've forgotten who it was. Who sang this song? Yeah, that's right. Simon and Garfunkel. I never appreciated it much. I was already in Hare Krishna. I never listened to it. But I heard at the Green Gathering, some devotees were singing this song. It was kind of nice. Are you going to Scarborough Fair? Da, 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 da. And there's a list of things they're selling at the fair. Remember, we changed it to Tulsi and Tilak and something is there. Remembered me to one who is there. He was once a true love of mine. Of course, we've all forgotten Krishna. He's going through the Vedic scriptures. Originally, we're lovers of Krishna. Now, because of illusion, we turn our back on Krishna. So this is a poignant song. Are you going to Vrindavan Fair? Tulsi and Tilak and what else? Chandan, so rare. Yes, that's nice. Remember me to one who is there, Krishna. For once I was a true lover. Once he was a true love of mine. So, I've changed the words. We'll start with the Hare Krishna version. I can put this high tech in here. I don't need this mic, do I? Only trouble is I've only written one verse so far. But if you think you like it, I'll be encouraged to sing some. So first of all, we offer our obeisances to us.
Sorry, me.
First, we offer when we do a kirtan in this process, we acknowledge our dependence on our spiritual master. So we have a couple of prayers to our spiritual master, and then we offer prayers to Lord Chaitanya, who started this whole movement of ecstatic surrender to Krishna, which is spreading all over the world because it's not on a bodily platform. It doesn't matter whether you're Chinese or yellow or black or green, the Martians. If you have any Martians, stand up, please. All the reptilians. Any reptilians here?
Yes,
Doesn't
they
matter.
definitely are.
We love reptilians. they're also spirit souls. They're servants of Krishna. They can chant. It doesn't matter who they are. Are there any Illuminati people here? This is real Illuminati. This is the real one world order. This is the one world order. Chanting Hare Krishna. Nama Om. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Premate Bhakti Vedanta Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Are you changing your body, my friend? Are you changing your body, my friend? Changing your body, my friend. From childhood to youth to old age, to childhood to youth to old age. From childhood to youth to old age. From childhood to old age. From old age to death, the change continues. To old age to death, the change continues. Somewhere a new body is waiting for you. Somewhere a new body is waiting for you. Somewhere a new body is waiting for you. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Hands up, everybody. Hands up. Sorry. Let time go.